was coming from their project. I'm like, no, it's coming from Stanley, you're okay.
We signed it the same place.
Yeah, I signed it in the
Fred
right
got it right,
number.
we got it right.
We are on.
We are on, all right.
But I'm fine with that being.
On the record?
Yeah, it might be on the record because it is the first time in 3.5 years.
Okay, our recording is back on. We are out of recess, back into regular session. It's 11:07. And we're back in session to continue with our annual update from the Ohio Department of Transportation. I'll let you introduce yourself and the crew and take it away.
Thank you, Holly. My name is Lathel Stefan. I am the Highway Management Administrator in District 2. I brought with me our team, Casey Smith. She is the Transportation Administrator over Seneca, Sandusky, and Ottawa County. And then Brian French is the area engineer. He takes care of all the construction projects in the area. On behalf of Todd Audette, I wanted to thank you for allowing us to come in and share our program with you. I apologize for Todd not being here. He's in Columbus today, and a meeting came up at the last minute, and that's what he's taking care of today. And then Kim Reesner, as I'm talking to you now, she is live on TV talking to you about a program that I'm going to share with you later on in the presentation. So to start with, I want to show you a slide that may look similar to a slide I showed you last year. It may look the same to you as the one I showed you last year. It's a little bit different. But again, this is 75, 475, and all the construction that's going on our interstate. We're emphasizing that one more time is because it's obviously it's major road. It's a major artery that feeds our economy in Northwest Ohio. I know this is not Seneca County, but however, a lot of businesses, a lot of labor is involved in constructing the interstate. All in all, what you're looking at there is about $800 million, $900 million worth of construction. So our region is quite a bit involved in constructing, rebuilding the interstate as we speak. The next slide is kind of following the same line that we've talked to you about before. Obviously, the construction program for ODOT was at its peak in 2015, fiscal year 2015, with the infusion of turnpike revenue that came in through the bonding of against tolls. That program for ODOT was about $2.5 billion project. The size of the funding was about $2.5 billion worth of construction program.
Excuse me, was that just in District 2 or?
That's the whole state,
The whole state.
$2.5 billion, right. And then last year, fiscal year 16, that went down to about 2.2. And you can see it steadily going back to what it's normal. Normal is about $1.5 million, $1.6 billion worth of construction on an annual basis. That's statewide. At the same time, before I leave this slide, I wanted to show you that since the year 2000, the green line there indicate the number of personnel. We've looked at our operations. We've looked at every way possible that we can consolidate, improve our efficiency and our operations, and with that, we've reduced our staffing from about 6,000 in the year 2000 to today. It's about 4,700 employees in the department. So, all of these money, all this, these funds were actually transferred over to the operations side of the house, and that's how we're able to do a lot more today with our revenue than what we've ever done in the past. Specifically for District 2 in Northwest Ohio, as we speak, we're managing about $400 million worth of construction. This is this year. The 800, 900 I spoke about at the beginning, that's over a 3-4 year period to construct all these projects. This year alone, we're managing $400 million worth of construction. I know a lot of counties or a lot of cities, and I know Mark is quite a bit involved in the LPA program. The LPA local let projects, that adds another $38 million to the pot, which today in Northwest Ohio, we're working on about $431 million worth of construction. That's just in our district. And I'm going to let Brian talk to you about some of the construction projects that are going on, this one here specifically in Seneca and then district-wide, and then Casey will go over the maintenance program.
Yeah, excuse me. The one you're seeing up there, State Route 18, that one recently sold here just the beginning of July. Local contractor got it, R&I, Eric Reese. I know they're itching to start that as soon as they can, but right now we don't know for sure when that job's gonna start. When it does, it's a 120-day closure of 18, and the completion date's December 1st. So, you know, obviously the latest they're going to start this is sometime in August. So look for that be coming very soon. Another one that's not on the list, I think they just missed it because it involves a Wood County road as well. But we're going to be doing some resurfacing on 162 between Republic and Huron County. So that'll be going on this summer. Next slide here. This is kind of just speaking to, we have maintenance type construction projects that sell every single year, bridge deck sealing, especially the stuff at the bottom. Maintenance on RPMs, traffic signals, lighting maintenance, guardrail, those sell every single year and they involve the entire district. So those are out there, those are going on. Usually they have roughly zero impact on traffic for the most part. But specifically with some of the chip sealing work we have going on, there's a section of Seneca 101 about 4 miles outside of Tiffin to the Sandusky County line, and then continues into Sandusky County on 101 up to Clyde. But that is going to sell middle of July, so that may or may not get done this season. But again, it's a chip seal job, so again, we'll be flagging traffic during the day. Not a big impact on the traveling public. Excuse me. And then the other section, we did a section of Seneca 19 from Crawford County to a little south of 224. That project is essentially complete. We're just, because of the way the chip seal operation works, we're just waiting on putting final striping down and RPMs. So you'll probably see that here within the next couple weeks, and we'll be done on that. And that is, that's essentially the breadth and the width of the construction projects here in Seneca County for this year. Obviously, more to come next year. So, if you have any questions, let me know.
And Casey will go over the maintenance program.
We actually just finished up berming all of the state routes and US routes in the county last month. We had brought in a crew out of the western part of the district, and they came in, and with our forces addition to them, we bermed every single route and got all those done so that all the berms up to standards as far as that goes. We had the paving train in the county for about a month and a half. They just finished up last week, I believe. They did some work on 635 and 53. I also think they did work on 23. Basically, it's most of the routes other than 635. I know we did a 4 to 6 inch repair deep on 635, but the rest of them are usually 2 inches deep and about 8 feet wide, so you really get that smooth surface to drive on rather than the bumpier routes. And we try to pay special attention to roads that aren't coming up for construction the next year. It'll be like 2 years out or something where we get some complaints or we see some issues that we need to take care of. Also, safety work on 53, we're continuing to fill in the ditches. We can only do so much a year, so each year we make sure that we get our allotment in and do that. We've already completed a few hundred feet, and we're going to keep working on that until we get up to our contract limits or force account limits on that. Other things that we've done, we're mowing right now. We should have our first pass done probably this week. We've been working on Saturdays to try to get that completed. The first pass is only just a 15-foot road cut, and then once we're done and it gets to about September, we'll come back and we'll do the whole right-of-way. We'll mow everything on that pass, and that'll take us into winter once we start that. We're always doing drainage work, especially right now with it being so dry. We're getting out there and cleaning out as many ditches as we can and helping out the locals if we see something that needs enclosed, like on 53. I know we're talking about 635 with a large ditch that's out there and having the roadway issues. That's a very large project north of Bascom that we're hopefully gonna get into sometime. But as far as it goes, other than what's listed up here, it's usually reactive to phone calls and things that need to be done around the county. So that's all I have.
And Kim normally is with us to talk to you about a new program that we are starting in our district. Columbus has been working on this for about a couple of years, and that is to increase areas where that are inside the right-of-way, obviously, to promote new habitat for pollinators. And what we've done in our district this year is that we've established 10 acres of right-of-way to basically create, plant flowers and all kinds of plants that are homes, or they could be used for butterflies, bees, and other pollinators. The two areas we have in Wood County on US 6, just outside of Bowling Green, and then the interchange of 795 and 75. We're doing the infields, and then in addition to that, we're trying something different. This is an overview of our Tiffin garage, or Seneca County garage. And that area that you see, the triangle, is normally it's just grass, and we mow it. We figured, all right, let's try something different inside our facility. So we've already killed the grass in that area. The pollinator program works that you have to kill all vegetation and then plant the seeds, and it takes about 2 to 3 years to fully germinate. So we started that process actually in May. We've sprayed the right-of-way, and we've sprayed this area, and then when we come back again in the fall, spray it a second time, and then the third time it'll be in early spring next year, and then after that we'll start planting the seeds with different flowers. We figured it's going to save us about $500 an acre in mowing cost. More important than that is that sort of like what the theme is, and what Casey and Brian were talking about, is resources are very scarce because of the amount of construction and the amount of maintenance that needs to be done. So the more time that we can save on not doing some activities, that's our crew doing real substantial work, whether it's paving or replacing culverts or doing berming. So that's what we're concentrating on. And a while back, about 4 or 5 years ago, we recognized that we were going to be hit with a major construction program. So what we started doing is concentrate on having counties work together, creating work teams or crews to do different things, sort of like contractors conduct business. Casey spoke about berming, and it was a crew from out west. Well, that's actually the multi-county work crew. It started about 5 years ago, and it's kind of a self-managed crew. There are 8 employees that work on that crew. They're given the assignment from a manager, and they're not necessarily told exactly what to do on every single day. They're given the task, and amongst themselves they figure out what needs to be done, who's going to be off, and what kind of work hours they need to work to accomplish the task. It's a self-managed crew. Paving training is another example. We started out with putting 1,500 tons of asphalt a year back in 2005, and we thought that was great. Last year, they placed about 14,500 tons. So tree crew is the same way. We went from about doing tree trimming for about 2 months of the year to now this is about a 12 months a year operation. They go around the district, and they trim or cut trees or whatever is necessary to be done. Drainage crew started a couple of years ago. We went from replacing about 10, 12 culverts a year. Those are the larger size culverts. To 2 years ago, we did 42, and this past year we did 53 culverts. 53 culverts we replaced. So it's those kind of things that we're kind of increasing our efficiency in what we normally do. but normally each county does their own thing nowadays, and this is the reason why Casey is kind of overseeing 3 counties, because really the 3 counties are at her disposal as far as when she needs resources. Instead of just working in Seneca County and she only has Seneca County Garage helping out, now she has the ability to draw from Sandusky and even Ottawa. Not that it prevented people in the past, but now she's on, all of those county garages are under her responsibility, so she can make things happen a lot quicker. It's more flexibility for her. And actually, that was the last slide. I'd be more than happy to take any of your questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll go through this. First of all, thank you for what you guys are trying to do to be more efficient. I appreciate that. We Seneca County, we kind of feel like the middle square of the tic-tac-toe board, if you can envision that. And that is that we've got 4 lanes to the north of us and 80, got 4 lanes to the south of us and 30. We have 4 lanes to the west of us, 75, and 4 lanes to the east of us, and 71. But as you know, we're one of the very few counties of the 88 that does not have a 4-lane highway through. So, we certainly think there's a real need to look at some Super 2s and to give us a little bit of east, west, north, south. And I know that we have a number of formulas that we use, and this may be at a different level, and I've certainly talked to them about that. But the fact is, District 2 has 8 counties that you guys are responsible for, and the population of those 8 counties are about 835,000. Seneca County represents 57,000 of those folks. That's 6.8%. And yet consistently from the Department of Transportation, we've gotten somewhere less than 4.5% of the money, 4.3 over the last 10 years on average. 2.5% may not sound like a lot, but that's $1 million a year based on ODOT's budget for District 2. So we feel like over the last 10 years, we've been short about $10 million. Exacerbating that, at least in my opinion, is the fact that there are about 3,381 road miles in District 2. Seneca County has 407 of those. That's 12%. And for us to only get 4.3% of the money for District 2, I think there's something with the calculation that I don't quite get. We have 934 bridges in District 2. Seneca County has 108 of those, again, 12%. Why is it that, I understand there's formulas, and I understand there's calculations, and I understand, it's about road safety and all those kind of things. But how is it that we've got 12% of the road miles, 12% of the bridges, not 7% of the population, and we consistently only get 4.3% of the money?
And I'll try and answer your question. I come from the operations side of things and not in the planning.
I'd love to hear the explanation.
Well, I'm going to try, and if I need to, I will have to follow up with an email or let you know what the full answer is. But I'll tell you what my involvement in planning these things, because my grandson was a planning and engineering administrator. Him and I talk most of the time. A lot of formulas go into how the money is divvied up, and a lot of it pertains to number of accidents, number of traffic, condition of roads, condition of bridges. So if all those things are taken into account, and really the decision, I'm not going to tell you that the decision is not made in the district, but all these numbers are compiled in central office and shared with the districts. At that point, the districts look at their overall program and decide, okay, what do we need to address the most, or what should have the higher priority over other things. Now, sometimes the central office will influence that decision by either whether it's they know the funding is going to drop down and we need to take care of something like rather than later, or there's a new program, especially for bridges that happens most of the time, is that they will suggest that money for structures should be spent on this type of a bridge because other monies are going to be available for another type of a bridge. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Like
but
that
there's a lot of things that go into the formula. We don't
Okay,
necessarily divvy up the pot based on population and based on miles.
But my point is maybe that should be a heavier weight. Now, I get it. I get the fact that we're going to get less than our share based on these numbers sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't get that over 10 years, there's never been a year when we've been close to the road miles that we have or the population that we have, or the number of bridges that we have.
See, from an operations standpoint, not to interrupt, but from an operations standpoint, I look at that as we're doing an excellent job in keeping the conditions of the roads and the bridges so far better than other counties where other counties are meeting.
I don't buy that.
Well, you don't buy it, but
Because,
I
I'll tell you
maintain
why,
it.
I'll tell you why I don't buy it, is because it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, we say that we're gonna do 30, we're gonna take State Route 30 and make it 4 lanes, it's a wonderful thing, because it expected increased traffic and because it's a good corridor. Well, how about 224?
Yeah, see, I
So,
can,
so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that that road's gonna get used more because now it's 4 lane. I understand that, and I understand that there's formulas that you use. What I'm saying to you is at some point, we need to put heavier weight on some of the counties that have not gotten anywhere near their population percentage, their road mile percentage, their bridge percentage over a decade.
okay.
I get that 75 is a major artery and helps draw business here, I get all that. And I can give up some of it some years so that those things can happen. What I can agree with is that consistently, over time, and I'm not directing this directly at you.
No,
please
I understand.
understand.
You're directing it to
Consistently
ODOT.
over time, there should have been some year in here where maybe we got a little bit more than our share.
Sometimes the
As-
pendulum's gotta swing our way.
As does
Sometimes.
Lucas and Wood, and,
I understand.
they get, as a percentage of population and road miles, theirs is much higher consistently, year after year. So, I know you got a formula, I know people have an equation, but can we talk about at some point putting heavier weight on road miles, bridges, population, as opposed to other factors?
Okay. Well, I can promise you this, I'll discuss it with Todd and see if we can put a response together to, because I can't respond to you about the US 30 versus 224. Really, that's all planning.
Well, that's probably jealousy more than anything, but that's just the point that I'm trying to make. is
Jealousy
that,
is a sin.
Had that been developed over the years, that might have been a major artery too.
Yeah.
And I think there's gotta be some consideration to counties that don't have a 4 lane to be able to use those arteries to get to the 4 lanes. But in order to do that, they gotta be Super 2s, there's gotta be more concentration of filling in ditches, there's gotta be more concentration of putting turning lanes in.
I understand. I live in a county that does not have a 4-lane.
Congratulations, we're one of the few.
Fulton County, and it's got 2 roads that parallel the turnpike, and when the turnpike is shut down, my road, the one I use, is just outside of my house.
Yeah.
Gets a lot of traffic, so.
Sure.
US 20.
Yeah.
So.
I can give firsthand experience. I have, my day job is, I have 4 manufacturing plants around the country. And it is extremely difficult for us to be able to recruit trucks to come into Seneca County because they can't get in and out quick enough. So many times, I'm in a decision-making process that I will move business to one of my other plants because they can get trucks in and out, we can't get it here. That's just one little small example of how the infrastructure hurts the economy and the ability for us to grow in Seneca County.
Would you
I'm
mind?
just one of many.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point. Would you mind writing an email to Todd? Because we do have a gentleman in our office that looks at all of these things and what helps businesses.
Lath, with all due respect, Todd's been told this a number of times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, this is not new.
Yeah, okay.
This isn't new. That was really the reason I run for commissioner
Okay,
4 years ago, was to try to enhance the infrastructure to, we know we're not gonna get a 4-laner, we know that. But a Super 2 will help.
Will
And
help.
again, I can give proof of
Yeah.
our ability to grow my small business in Seneca County is I put it elsewhere sometimes because of their ability to get trucks in and out. That's a shame.
I will take your concerns.
And we've worked with Jeff Lurkey, that's probably who
That's,
you're referring to.
that's who I'm
yeah.
referring to.
Through, once we established the Transportation Improvement District.
Yes.
Jeff was over here when we were looking at doing that, and then we've had changes with our regional planning, but then since that we established that, we've got a new regional planning director, and I know she mentioned, was it through your committee? Talking to him recently about stuff, Charlotte, and, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff-
And we have recently contracted with it was a bachelor group, lobbyist
Mhm.
to look at potential funding of improving the infrastructure. It is a major issue in Seneca County, major issue. that we need to enhance.
The problem is, we don't know what the procedure is. You know, we've been asking for a long time.
Yeah.
We've been putting statistics together for a long time. We have met with folks in Columbus for a long time. We can't get anything done. You know, we had a study done on 224 that kind of just went flat, and we spent $100,000 for the study,
53.
53, and, you know, the answer was, you don't need anything.
We're doing components of that. I mean, it's a comprehensive
Yeah.
plan. Some of it it can be done immediately, some of it may take 10 years to find funding for it, and that's what we're working on.
Yeah, well, we've been working on it for more than 10 years.
Oh.
So, you know, we're always told that.
Yeah.
It's 6 years out, it's 8 years out, it's 10 years out. And I get that, and I know that we gotta prepare for it, but the frustration is, we look back 10 years ago, we're having the same conversations.
Yeah, I
You know,
understand.
I know we need the representation in Columbus to maybe push a little harder for us, and I'm sure that every county is saying the same kind of things I'm saying. But, you know, squeaky
I
wheel.
did say that Sandusky did the same thing.
Yeah.
This is not
Yeah, I
to you
understand.
specifically.
Yeah, I
No,
understand.
please don't- you're
Oh,
the
I
best.
understand. Oh,
You're
I'm
the
not-
best.
You know,
I'm not offended
evidently,
by what
we
you're
haven't been,
saying.
you know, pain in the ass. I don't
No,
know.
I enjoy these kind of conversations.
You do.
'Cause I do, because it gives us an opportunity to help you guys do your thing in your county, sort of like, you know, even with owning a business or multiple businesses, and you know how hard it is. So we are trying to be as friendly as we can. But I know you'll understand how scarce the dollars are, and, you know, the formula changes every now and then, because, I mean, we just went through that about a year ago, and some of the routes that were scheduled to be done, for example, this year got pushed, 20 in Woodville.
Sure.
Through, it got pushed out 5 years,
I
and that's
get-
through the village.
I get that the money's scarce, we just want our percentage of it.
I guess the thing that concerns me is, you know, they talked about the Nexus money, the turnpike money, and Governor Kasich has mentioned that the majority of the funds received from refinancing the turnpike was going to be put into roads that lead into the turnpike.
Correct.
And so we're thinking 53 is absolutely, I mean, it's
Yeah.
spot on.
But we received the majority of the first round. The second round, I don't believe we received anything. And right now, and that's the reason why I should kind of prepared you for the graph to drop, is that there is no commitment to do a third round. As you know, there's going to be elections next year, and I'm not sure if the program is committed to continue on at this point. But, you know, we received the majority of the funds, and that's why we were able to do what we're doing now. The second round, I believe District 4 and 11 received the majority of there's like 5 or 6 projects as they funded out of the second round. And we're working on the third round to see if it actually happens.
Yeah, we even tried to get a consortium of counties together, Sandusky, you know, folks in Upper Sandusky and Seneca, to lobby for that 53, you know, to show that there's a joint collaboration and people, that's what we're gonna concentrate on, but that didn't fly either, so. I just don't know what, it's just a frustrating, it's frustrating to go to Columbus and get some lip service, but don't get any more of a percentage. It's frustrating to have these conversations every year, do a plan, take it to them and say, this is what we need, and don't get any more than 4.3%, or again, less than a lot of calculations we do.
I think Commissioner Kirchner's statement is very valid. You know, we don't even get our percentage, and I understand,
Yeah.
you know, over a period of time, sometimes that pendulum's gonna swing our way. But over the last 10 years, it certainly hasn't, and I would be willing to bet that if we could go back even further than 10 years, that it hasn't.
But I mean, if you take 2.5%, now I'm saying our population is 6.8, just taking that one factor, and we get 4.3%, that's 2.5%. That's $1 million, a little more than that, than the District 2 money. I mean, that's $10 million over 10 years. That's a lot of money that could have been used for a lot of good things if we just got our percent of the population. Our taxpayers paid that money. Our people that use our roads pay that money. That's where the money comes from, our people. And we got 57,000 of them that are doing that. We want our money back.
I understand. Noted.
And you enjoy this, huh?
Any other questions?
I just have another comment, and I don't know if it's more appropriate to Brian or Casey. A couple things I noticed this spring, and it's not to do with the dollars here, but it would be safety-related things. And I would think it's gotta be a scary concern having your people out in the roadway now with more distracted driving and all of that going on. There was a couple, and I know it wouldn't have, they weren't ODOT employees, they were contractors doing, one was striping, and it was on 53 south of Tiffin. I don't know if I was still in Seneca County, I was on my way to Columbus, or if it was, yeah, Wyandotte. It was when we went to Cincinnati that morning. We went down and got on 30. But, you know, all of a sudden there's somebody alongside of the road, bent over, doing whatever, no advance signing that they were there. And I didn't, you know, I mean, I didn't hit them. There was 3 of us in the car, and we saw far enough there was something going on. But I'm thinking, wow, why isn't there some more? I mean, it's one thing.
Advanced signing.
Yeah, that I don't know who the
And they
crew
were
was.
doing
And
pavement markings, you say?
yes, it was a Monday morning, but they were, and the road through there was striped really wacky. Maybe one of it was temporary being pulled up, but there was like double striping, like it was done
Yeah.
once and needed to be fixed or something. I don't know exactly
Yes,
what it
they were.
was, but I mean, I just found that scary, because I thought I'm an alert driver paying attention. I'm not distracted. I'm watching what I'm doing, you know.
We're-
Yeah, and there was 3 of us in the. 3 of us in the car. You didn't go there now.
I finished my text and went on.
And then the other one was on the city, I know it was on the Kennedy Bridge one night, and all of a sudden, I'm coming up upon that, and you've got to merge over, and this is city traffic going slow. And there's some guy standing there waving like this at the back of his equipment. He has nothing reflective on whatsoever. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
No vests, no sign. no
Where
nothing.
was the signs? I don't know. I just, yes, like I said, it's bad enough you're against the distracted drivers,
Oh,
but
yeah.
then I'm thinking to not have, and again, I'm not saying that's ODOT, it's not. Those two
Well,
things
we have
happened
our-
within
we've
a few
had
weeks of each
close
other.
calls. I mean, we just had a accident was it last week?
Yeah, Thursday.
In Ottawa County where somebody actually entered the zone. They weren't looking, I'm not sure what the,
It's drug related.
yeah.
Yeah, and then
So it's-
that kind of distracted driving, you know, the drugs is as bad as the
We've actually had a
the
couple of
drinking.
accidents here in Seneca County. 224 and then 19 a few years ago, where somebody actually entered the zone, and both times I think they hit our truck. 224 they hit our truck as well.
I don't know if they hit the truck, but the flagger had to jump out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had close calls.
Yeah, it's scary out there.
But thanks for bringing it up. We'll look into, see if it was a pavement marking contractor that was.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I didn't see any ODOT vehicles, and there was some vehicle eventually down the road we saw, but I just.
Yeah, pavement markings, unfortunately, that it's a contract that goes through the whole district, and obviously with the nature of the contract, we can't just follow them just, everywhere they
Right,
go.
right.
So we do spot inspection is what we do. So sometimes they'll work by themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, if you were going down there earlier in the morning, a lot of times that's the worst part, because we're setting up the zone, and as you're setting up the zone, there's no signs telling you, we're gonna put a sign up that there's something coming up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At some point in time, you have to start at 0,
Well,
and
this
a
was-
lot of times,
actually,
that's
this
the
was
worst time for us.
Sunday afternoon.
Oh, so it probably was yeah.
Yeah, it was Sunday, because we went down, because we had to be in Cincinnati early. We went Sunday afternoon. It was Sunday afternoon. I don't remember what it was, Monday or Sunday or Sunday.
Yeah, and those guys sometimes get numb to it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They don't realize that it's more dangerous for them to
For the
not
first
take
time,
the
is there a
proper
deer out there or
precautions.
something? Because it didn't look very big, little, no, that's a person standing there bent over.
Wow. All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Thanks.
Elmer.
I got a question. You talked about the safety. How does the accident ratio or injury ratio in Cindy County compare with other places of about the same size and the same amount of traffic? I'm thinking that the condition of the highways in this area makes it much more dangerous to drive than it would if you had a better highway. And I think it's somewhere along the line, and not too long distance in past, that I seen something where Seneca County was relatively high as far as accidents, occurrences, and injuries and deaths.
I don't know that question. Again, I come from the operations side of things, but what we'll do is we'll look at those numbers and we'll share them with the commissioners. So that way they can pass them on to you.
Yeah, well, somewhere along the line,
The closest population of Delmer in the 8 counties is Sandusky. They're about 61,000, we're about 57,000. The rest of them are way too low or way too high, so that'd be a comparison again.
Well, but I think he's talking about accidents, how do we
yeah,
compare?
yeah, I'm
Per
talking about
population, okay.
per mile and per population,
Yeah,
both,
road
really.
miles, I don't know,
Because I think it's pretty high here, really.
We will look into that and we'll forward it to the commissioners.
Okay, sorry to bother you.
No, any other questions?
Sure.
Tab.
May I ask a question
Sure.
about the roundabout that was put in?
Look, they're making faces.
Yeah, they had to talk about this in Sandusky County, didn't they?
I'm glad you brought it up, Tom, because my husband would say, why didn't you ask him about that roundabout?
How did the state justify putting that roundabout in and make it not straight? That is the worst roundabout I have ever driven through. Has there been accidents having in that roundabout?
We have no reported accidents, but I can tell you that, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen tire marks
Yes.
going up to the islands or sometimes in the roundabout itself, in the circle.
I have too, and I've noticed, I'm assuming semis have gotten off because there's some nasty ruts a while back.
I think some of the nasty ruts and some of we had a problem with some paint and things like that. They were happening consistently, and they were happening in a way that indicated that somebody was doing it on purpose. I'm not saying that everybody is being able to make it around that roundabout, but there seemed to be a few people, hopefully just a few people, that were doing things purposely through there, driving through the
Including
middle of
throwing
it.
paint on there.
That's
Yeah,
right. Well, I know they
consistent
throw
paint, all
paint,
that kind of stuff.
and I can understand why they would throw paint on it.
Yeah.
But that roundabout is not straight. It's put in there on an angle.
Roundabouts are designed so that way you have to slow down and traffic it would be difficult to go the wrong way in that roundabout. So that's why there's a curve as you get into the roundabout. You don't approach a roundabout, straight on. It's natural, you have to go at a circle because it,
Wants to force you to slow down.
exactly.
I can
So kinda
understand
aim
that,
this
but
way.
I have been through, well, there's 3 roundabouts north that I've gone through that are all straight. And they seem to work so much better than this one down here. But that's,
My question about that's a bigger picture question, we talked about the formulas that we use and the equations that we use. There was no real, there must have been some statistics about how many people wanted to turn left that were coming south and how many people wanted to turn left out of Terra at some point there.
Right.
But, from a pure number of cars, traffic count at that particular place, I gotta believe there are hundreds of intersections that have more traffic turning one way or the other than that particular spot. Why do we choose that to be a roundabout and spend the money that we spent and not do something? We all know 53's
Yeah.
history of being wide one spot where it's not supposed to be wide and being narrow. I mean, we all know that. To me, this just kind of added to that mess.
Yeah. I don't know, because I wasn't
Okay, but I mean-
involved in the planning.
Right.
But normally, roundabouts is a good alternative for a traffic signal.
I get it.
And usually when just like you alluded, that when you have turns, people naturally think that that's what you need, is you need a traffic signal. A traffic signal will still have an intersection where, depending on how many legs that intersection have, it could have up to 32 points of impact. A roundabout, for the same number of points of impact, a roundabout will have 8.
Well,
And that's why it's a safety alternative to having a 90-degree intersection.
Again, it's just a bigger picture question to me about the decision-making process to spend that kind of money at an intersection that's not that busy.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons possibly for that would be,
Condensed.
you're right, throughout the day, it's not that busy,
Yeah, I
but
get
at
it.
peak times,
Yeah, I
in
get
and out of school, it is that busy.
I mean, you
So
can say the same thing
If I
about-
put
you
up
can
a
say-
traffic signal to just serve those peak times, that traffic signal then kind of drags traffic down during the non-peak times, whereas the roundabout kind of kind of
Makes the
finds a
traffic
middle
flow-
ground between that. It allows traffic to move efficiently through there at the peak times and doesn't slow it down that much during the non-peak times. So it's a nice in-between as opposed to the traffic signal, and it's safer. I mean, there may be more accidents, I don't know if there are or there aren't, but it's an accident of somebody fender bendering somebody or somebody just kind of scraping the side of it as opposed to a T-bone. And I think they had some of those, I think from a safety standpoint, our safety people had looked that that was kind of a spot that people were getting hurt more often than they should be. But that's the best answer that I would have.
And that was what, one of the first projects they did with their transportation improvement district, is it not? Or did
That I
they
don't
do
know.
I
a,
think.
I do not know, yeah.
I thought they were starting to.
Because I know Tara
But you're right.
Tara was involved.
The
in-
appearance is that the majority of the time, especially this time of year, there's virtually nobody going
There's no
left or right.
school.
No,
I mean,
no.
everybody just, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, but I get that when school starts, it'll be busy. I just don't know how busy.
It is a
Yeah.
conversation piece.
Yeah, it-
It very much so.
Even if
there's
families
probably,
don't
a lot of people talk, a lot of people go to churches that go through that route.
Even on April Fool's Day.
That's right. Oh, yeah, Tim Hortons is gonna open in the center.
Thank you for listening to us.
Not a problem, not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I move for adjournment.
Motion, second.
Yes, seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We stand adjourned at 11:48.